Have you ever stopped to truly consider the utter strangeness of an igloo? It is a proposition that, on its face, seems profoundly, almost laughably, misguided. Here you are, in one of the most brutally cold environments on the planet, a place where exposed skin can freeze solid in minutes and the very air seems sharp enough to cut you. Your solution for shelter, for warmth, for survival, is to build a house out of the very substance that defines the cold, frozen water. It's like trying to build a boat out of sponges or a fireproof suit from dry leaves. And yet, for centuries, it has worked. It has not just worked, but worked brilliantly, providing a haven of relative comfort in a world of absolute hostility. This isn't just a house. It's a paradox, a small miracle of folk engineering that deserves a moment of our deepest admiration. The very word, igloo, comes from the Inuit language word for house, igloo, which can refer to any kind of dwelling, not just one made of snow. But in the global imagination, it is inextricably linked to those iconic domes of white, shimmering under the pale Arctic sun or the ethereal glow of the aurora borealis. We see them in cartoons and old documentaries, perfect hemispherical structures rising from an endless expanse of white. To understand how, we must first unlearn what we think we know about snow. When we think of building materials, we think of things that are solid, dense, and impermeable: brick, stone, wood. Snow seems the antithesis of all of this. It's soft, it's temporary, and it's made of cold. But the snow used for an igloo isn't the fluffy powder of a Christmas card scene. It is snow that has been compacted by wind and its own weight, forming a dense, sturdy slab known as pukangajuk. This snow is strong enough to be cut into large, manageable blocks, yet light enough for a single person to lift in place. It is this very specific type of snow that holds the first clue to the igloo's thermal magic. It isn't just frozen water. It's something much more complex and, as it happens, much more useful. The construction itself is a marvel of intuitive physics. The blocks are not stacked in simple rings, but in a continuous inward-leaning spiral. Each new block rests on the one below it and leans against the one beside it, creating a self-supporting dome that requires no internal framework. The final keystone block, cut to fit perfectly, locks the entire structure into a state of remarkable stability, strong enough to support the weight of a person standing on top. But its strength is only half the story. The real genius lies not in the solidity of the blocks, but in what's inside them, or more accurately, in the nothingness that's inside them. The secret to the igloo's warmth is, quite literally, air. Having walls made of trapped air is a fantastic start, but the genius of the igloo doesn't end there. The very shape of the structure is a masterclass in thermal efficiency and structural integrity. The dome is, mathematically speaking, the strongest shape for enclosing a given volume of space with the least amount of surface area. Less surface area means less area through which precious heat can escape into the environment. A square house has corners which are notorious weak points structurally and weak points thermally. A dome, by contrast, has none. This smooth, continuous surface helps it withstand Arctic winds. The winds simply flow up and over rather than batter a flat wall. Inside, the dome shape plays another critical role in managing the flow of air. As you know, warm air rises. In a rectangular room, this warm air can get trapped at the ceiling high above the occupants, where it does little good. In a dome, however, the rising warm air is naturally circulated. It rises to the apex, cools slightly on the ceiling, then flows down the curved walls back into the living space. Cutaway diagram. This creates a constant, slow-moving convection loop, ensuring that the warmth is distributed evenly, rather than lost in the rafters, so to speak. It's a passive, self-regulating ventilation system. Then there is the matter of the entrance. A simple hole would be a catastrophic failure of design, an open invitation for warmth to flood out and for cold, dense air to pour in. To solve this, igloos feature a short, low tunnel, often with a cold trap that dips down before rising into the main chamber. Cold air is denser than warm air, so it sinks and stays low. Cold air settles in the bottom of the tunnel, forming an invisible barrier. The warmer, lighter air inside cannot sink down through the tunnel, effectively trapping it inside. It's a brilliantly simple airlock. living and sleeping areas are not on the floor. They sit on a raised snow platform, elevating occupants above the coldest air at the bottom. The floor level is the coldest part, reserved for the cold trap and sometimes cooking. People sleep and sit on the upper level, in the warmer upper strata. Every element from dome shape to bench height is calibrated to hoard and manage warmth using fundamental physics. The primary furnace for this snow house is the human body. Even at rest, an adult body generates about 100 watts of energy. With several people inside a small, well-insulated space like an igloo, that body heat accumulates quickly. You are a walking radiator, and the igloo's job is to capture that warmth. But inhabitants didn't rely on body heat alone. A small lamp, traditionally a kulak, was often kept lit inside, providing light, melting snow for water, and adding a steady source of heat. To ensure ventilation, a small hole is poked through the ceiling. Hot air and exhaust gases rise and escape, while fresh, oxygen-rich air is pulled in through the low entrance tunnel, creating a constant, slow circulation. Fascinatingly, an igloo improves its own insulation over time. The heat from bodies and the lamp melts the innermost layer of snow, which then refreezes almost instantly into a thin, continuous layer of solid ice, sealing the structure and making it even warmer. Remember how the snow block's insulating power comes from its trapped air? The one downside to that porosity is that air can, very slowly, still move through it. The new inner layer of solid ice, however, is completely airtight. It acts as a vapor barrier, preventing any air from moving through the wall, which dramatically improves the igloo's overall insulating effectiveness. It stops drafts and locks in warmth even more securely. The structure essentially self-seals, becoming a better house the longer it is used. It's a bit like a self-healing wall, constantly reinforcing its own defenses against the cold. This interior ice shell has another benefit. It adds significant strength to the structure. The continuous, refrozen layer helps to bond all the individual blocks together into a single, monolithic unit. The igloo becomes less a collection of stacked blocks and more a solid, seamless shell. This allows it to better resist the pressures of wind and the weight of accumulating snow on its roof. So, we have a structure built from compacted snow, full of insulating air pockets. We have a dome shape that circulates heat. It also resists wind. We have a clever cold trap entrance that keeps warmth in and cold out. We have the furnaces of human bodies, and oil lamps, and we have walls that get stronger and more airtight the longer they are lived in. All these factors work together in a beautiful, simple symphony of thermal physics to create a shelter that defies our expectations. It is a testament to the idea that the most elegant solutions are often found by working with nature, not against it. The Inuit did not fight the snow. They harnessed its inherent properties. The result is a temperature difference that can be truly astonishing. It is not uncommon for the outside air temperature in the Arctic to plummet to a life-threatening minus 45 degrees Celsius, minus 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet, inside an igloo, warmed by nothing more than simple body heat and a small lamp, the temperature can hover around minus 7 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Fahrenheit, to even as high as 16 degrees Celsius, 61 degrees Fahrenheit near the top. But let's take a very clear common example. If it is a bracing minus 40 degrees Celsius outside, minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature on the raised sleeping platform inside can easily reach 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. A 40-degree difference, achieved with frozen water and a breath of air. That may not sound warm in the way we think of a centrally heated home, but in the context of the Arctic, it is the difference between life and death. It is the difference between shivering uncontrollably and being able to rest. It is a haven. The igloo is more than just a historical curiosity. It's a lesson in ingenuity, sustainability, and seeing the world for what it is.